we are into the final 20 minutes of the show. But earlier on in the programme, I heard all about the art of opera and how it's performed across the capital. Now, the Pegasus Opera Company have been working hard to provide opportunities for artists of Asian and African heritage. The soprano Nadine Benjamin MBE is starring in one of their productions called The Human Voice. She made her Royal Opera House debut back in 2020 and has performed across the country, including at Glyndebourne and with the English Touring Theatre Opera. Well, her journey into music started on the rock and roll scene.
Well, I'm actually a bit of a blow-in. I started off with drum and bass and rock and house and garage and stuff like that. But, you know, when I was 35, I decided that I wished to really sing opera because that's where my voice was naturally accustomed to. And I suppose I just started to have lessons and I jumped out of a corporate job in the city.
Interesting, because that's something we were talking about, actually. I was talking about, it's described as the soft life and leaving the corporate world to do what you feel really passionate about, but that's something that you've done.
Yes, that's exactly what I've done, and I haven't looked back since. And it's been a lot of hard work. It's been very challenging, but it's also brought me many opportunities and a new way to look at life. But I'm also a coach as well, so I'm also a high performance coach and a mind coach. So integrating those two worlds has been really important to me, especially in mentorship, and just making sure that people understand that they can do anything and that anything is possible.
I love that. You mentioned there then, it's brought you a new way to look at life. And I think for people that sing, oftentimes they're really connected to their soul, and singing really does something for them. Now, as someone who is a soprano, and you really have to dig deep to find that voice, can you just tell us a little bit more about this new way to look at life as a result of this new world, not new anymore to you, but that you stepped into?
Well, the importance of stories, like the stories that we're doing today, you know, on the 12th to the 14th, this double bill, the stories are from the heart. They're about the human experience. And I think I've realised that my own story was really important, and that the life experiences of what I live and how I've lived help me to tell these stories in a way that can really touch the hearts of an audience, and that I don't have to be afraid of having my own feelings. And when I'm not afraid of having those feelings, then you give permission for everybody else watching to have theirs too, you know, and to not shut down, but to truly live from the inside out. And I think our director, Josette, has really, really, really helped us to kind of find that. She's Josette Bushell Mingo, OBE, and she's really helped us to really dig deep and find the true expression of each of those characters on stage and got them to come alive. And I'm just so excited.
And it's an all-female cast. How magical is that? Is it magical?
For me, it has been a magical experience because it means then that I've been able to express myself in a way that I might have unconsciously not or held back before. And so I've been able to really, as you've just said many times, dig deep into all of myself and not leave any stone unturned. And especially, you know, with this role of Elle that I'm playing in The Human Voice, you know, it really requires you. It's the hardest role I've ever had to learn in my life. It has really asked a lot of me. I decided to do it in English, which is a lot harder to learn than if I'd done it in French. But Poulenc's recommendation was that any country where his work is being played, that we do it in the language of the country. So I felt that was really important. And also I felt with the double bill, Roman Fever, also being in English, that's wonderful for the audience as well. But it's really about, you know, making sure that whoever we are on the inside is told in these stories, and we take away the parts of ourselves that are not needed for the story. That's also really important as well.
Tell us about Pegasus Opera Company, because as I mentioned in the introduction there, they're working really hard to make opera more inclusive. Tell us about your experience of opera and inclusion and working with Pegasus.
Working with Pegasus has been amazing. Their artistic director, Alison Buchanan, is a powerhouse. And I love her for that, because I hold that thing in my heart about anything being possible. I see that in her as well. And I think when she took over the helm of Pegasus, it went in a very different direction. And I think it deepened, they have talent development where they're mentoring. They have artistic development where they're getting people on stage and in concerts, and they're doing lots with learning and participation as well, and getting music into schools and the community. And so they are really bringing opera to life, to communities, to hearts, to the everyday person. They are breaking the barriers of what can be perceived as elitism, or but just showing that opera can be for everybody, and that the stories that they tell as well are stories of the African, the Caribbean, Asian community, but they're also stories of, like I'm telling the human voice, Pulong, so nothing's left out. Everything is inclusive. So even though they have a main area to concentrate on, when you go into the room behind stage, Nancy on the piano, everybody is different from many different cultures. So it's that whole celebration of life. And underneath their strapline under Pegasus Opera, it says harmony in diversity.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and I'm a great believer of harmony, because people are always looking for balance. And I say, no, look for harmony. Don't look for balance in your life. Look for harmony.
Oh, now I was talking about looking for balance earlier, but I'm going to change that, I think, then, to looking for harmony.
Yes, because balance always preconceives that we are already off balance. So we're never going to be in balance when we constantly. But if we look for harmony, we always know what's off-centre. Somebody always says, oh, I don't like that vibe. And you always know what to do to correct it. So the fact that they've got harmony and diversity, it tells me immediately that everybody's welcome, everybody's included, and together we make change, together we rise up, together we lift our voices, and together we celebrate this wonderful art form that is opera!
I mean, even your voice is operatic. Your laugh, I should say, is operatic. Beautiful. And so, I mean, it's wonderful that you are having this experience and that you are feeling so positive about the world of opera. It is one of those art forms that sometimes it has been suggested that it hasn't always been for everyone. Have you experienced that side of it as well, though?
I think when I first started, I didn't feel like there was a place for me. Nobody knew where to fit me. I was told I was a risk, So I really had to have this. I'm so glad I'm a coach. If I wasn't a life coach, I think I wouldn't have made it this far. But I've got so many tools in my box that actually it really allowed me to see, actually, how can I be of service to others, which is why I created Everybody Can, a mentorship program for creatives, for corporates, just to look at their mindset and empower them to do well in the world. Because if you don't have the support, if you don't have the community, if you don't have people around you that are celebrating you, that are connecting you, that are championing you, it's a very, very difficult art form to get into, and it's really expensive.
Yeah, okay. So let's go back then to talking about your show and where people can find out more, how people can attend and hear this beautiful voice of yours.
So we're in the Susie Sainsbury Theatre at the Royal Academy of Music from the 12th to the 14th of April at 7:30 in the evening, I think.
Yeah, 7:30. I'll help you there. It's 7:30.
Tickets can be brought by the Pegasus website, I believe, Pegasus Opera. And, please come along because, they really are stories of the heart. I think Alison Buchanan and Bernadette Pritchard really play a really dynamic duo on stage for the Roman Fever. And I think Hageman's opera has this really amazing story and the way they play off each other is just so mesmerising and fun to watch, And then that story has a little twist. So you've got lots of things to look out for, And yeah, we just wish to welcome you and to see everybody there, everybody of every diversity. You're all included and we welcome you all.